Hey there guys and gals, and welcome to a review of a Komkaer USB C hub. Komkaer actually sought me out and was like, hey, would you like to review our new product? Generally speaking, USB-C hubs like this are marketed towards newer Macs because newer Macs pretty much only have USB-C ports. As most of you know, I don't run any Mac setups, but I do run a Windows laptop that has not one but two USB-C ports. One's Thunderbolt, one is not. Generally speaking, like I said, these kind of hubs are marketed towards Macs, but they do work on Windows should you need to use them. First thing I'm going to say is, looking at this is really strange packaging. It's not bad, it's not worse than anything else, it's just really strange packaging. I've never gotten a new product off of Amazon that didn't come in a box that told me what it was. Like, sure, I sell things on eBay all the time. I'll put them in whatever boxes I want. But I've never gotten like a new item that the packaging looked like it wasn't for this item. That is either a jewelry box or the kind of gift box that you get when you get a gift card. And that's super weird to me. But hey, if it fits, it fits. No sense going all crazy for something that they're just going to take out of the box anyway. So you're probably wondering what's actually in the box. This is going to be the shortest unboxing in the history of the world. Even shorter than my Boba Fett blaster. So what do you get? You get a USB-C hub. We've got a USB-C port, an HDMI. We've got 3 USB 3.0s, a micro SD, a regular SD, an Ethernet port, and a 3.5mm jack. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ports on this. And even comes covered in that. And you get the user manual. Bam, ba bam, bam, bam. Yep, that's it. So clearly what we're going to do first is plug it in. I'm going to boot up my laptop, and then we'll start this up. So I've increased the angle of the camera from, it was on 110 degrees before, now to 140. Again, this is my DV Power N5S. I'm still working out the kinks a little bit with it, so bear with me. But the fact that I can go up to 170 degrees wide would be incredibly helpful. I was originally just going to use the screen recording for it, but I realized that then you won't be able to see what I'm actually doing with the hub. So this is probably the best option I've got. A little awkward, but probably the best option I've got. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it into the non-Thunderbolt port. Setting up a device. We're setting up a USB audio device at this point. Let's see what else we're setting up. USB audio device is set up and ready to go. So that would be the 3.5 section. Okay. Should be everything is good to go. First thing we're going to test. Let me see if I can move this over just a little bit more. There we go. We're going to test the charging port on it. So I'm going to go grab a USB-C to C cable and see if it charges up my phone. What I've got here on my phone is a Belkin certified, IF certified 3.1 USB-C cable. We're going to plug it in. Remember, I'm not in the turbocharge port right now. So it's not turbocharging, which makes sense. What would happen if I did plug it into the turbocharge port? That's a question we should find out. So I'm going to plug you into the turbocharge port. Let's see if you turbocharge. It is currently installing the drivers. I can see that because my laptop is loading. Oh, you guys can't see it, but the Ethernet port is lighting up now. The Ethernet port was not doing that before I plugged it into the turbocharge port. It is not charging my phone, so I'm going to take it out of the turbocharge port, put it back into the other port. There we go, it's loading up. Computer's doing all this thinking right now. There we go. What are we doing? It boop-boop-a-dooped 3 times last time. Something's turning on and off, on and off, on and off. Let me unplug this then while it's thinking. Oh, we got something to happen here. The Ethernet port is currently not lit up, but Gives a real good snap if you get it into place. Bang, my computer recognizes it. It's not fast charging, but it is charging, and my computer can open up my phone. Here, I'll just change some settings here so that you can get into my phone. Yeah, I have a lot of notifications. There we go. I don't have any incriminating evidence or anything. I have full access to the phone through here. It's charging, but it doesn't seem to be fast charging. So I'm going to try that one more time just to make sure. Close out all this. I'm going to unplug from the USB-C hub. I'm going to plug it back in to the Thunderbolt port. I got all the beep beep beeps, beep beep beeps. Setting up USB audio device, which is what it didn't do before. Setup, no longer thinking for the most part, doesn't seem like. Alright, I'm going to plug this back in, see if it turbocharges. There's a nice snap when you get into place. Still doesn't turbocharge, so you won't be able to turbocharge through it, but you will be able to slow charge. Now, to show you what I mean by not being able to turbocharge, if I were to unplug this hub, take just my regular USB-C and plug it into the Thunderbolt port, I get turbo power connected at the bottom, which means it'll fast charge. So it doesn't seem like you can fast charge through this hub, but you can still regular charge and transfer data. Next up, I'm going to go back into the turbocharge port. Remember, my laptop has two. And we're going to try out these USB 3s. So I'm back. I've brought my Blue Yeti, a USB 3.0 solid USB 3.0 external hard drive, the Xbox 360 wireless adapter, and just a silicon keyboard. And what we'll do is plug things in one by one and make sure they work. So we're going to start with my Blue Yeti in, and probably the easiest way would be to use the voice recorder. Oh, here we go. Hold on. No, I want to change the setting. Now it is. Currently, the hub is set as the default device, but that's not what we want. We want the Yeti. Yeti is now recording. I'm just going to record some, play it back. Hi everyone, how you doing? I'm going to play it back. It's currently outputting through the hub, so we're going to switch that over. So at least my computer recognizes it as a sound device. That's good. No, not that. That's a lie. Here we go. Play it back. Hi everyone, how you doing? Seems to be working so far. Next up, we're going to plug in the external hard drive to the next USB-C port. Recognized it right away. I have access to all my stuff. Let's see. Something that's huge would be, let's go into my old YouTube videos. I try to save videos for YouTube that have a copyright notice on them, just in case they get taken down at some point. We'll just open up, let's open up the Apollo move list. Let's see if it plays. Everything seems to be working fine. Can I skip through the video? Yep, everything's going. Sounds good to me. 2 or 3 ports open. Next, I'm going to, before I try the wireless receiver hub for Xbox 360, because generally speaking it has some issues. More often than not, you run into a little error where when you plug it in for the first time, Windows 10 doesn't recognize it as the 360 wireless receiver, and you have to tell it manually that that's the driver you want to install. So I'm going to ignore that for now. I'm going to plug in this keyboard. We're setting up USB keyboard. Yes, I actually have one of the little silicone keyboards. All set up. Look how big caps lock is. I'm not actually hitting the button. Caps lock is working. How about numlock? Numlock isn't even on this keyboard. Windows key is working. Can I type? Everything's working fine. Okay, so you can keep all these open. Now I'm going to remove. That's the problem with silicone keyboards. They're very jelly, and whenever you touch anything, they just out. So I'm going to remove this. No more silicone keyboard. If it does the wireless receiver thing, just give me a minute and I will fix it. And then we'll come back. Looks like you can't put a whole bunch of controllers in. Yep, nope. Okay, so one of the problems with USB hubs in general, not just this USB-C hub, is that for some reason when you plug in multiple controllers or controllers and other things, you get some issues. Especially multiple controllers, usually multiple keyboards and multiple controllers. The problem isn't that you can hit the same buttons. The problem is actually that it doesn't have the power to run them. So like if you have a Logitech keyboard that's got extra USB ports, chances are you won't be able to run a controller out of that USB port. It just doesn't have enough power to transfer through. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the hard drive. Okay. We're going to remove the Yeti. And we're going to see if this guy malfunctions no matter what. No, it does not. So the problem was it doesn't draw enough power to run all three devices. However, this is through my non-Lightning port. So actually, if I go into the device manager and fix this, it'll change. But for right now, what we're going to try is we're going to put this in through the Lightning port real quick and see if it draws any more power. The Ethernet port light will probably start lighting up soon. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do everything in the same order that I had it in before, where it'll be Yeti will be first. I think we're good. Yeti will be first. I got to switch it back to default so you can hear it go boop boop doop. Oh no, it is. Yeah. Let's see, recording. Yeti is muted. Where's the Yeti at? Bah, bah, bah. It is now recording fine. I gotta tighten these bolts a little bit so that it stays up. Okay, so the Yeti's on. Next we're gonna plug in the hard drive. Hard drive's up and running. Do we have the power to run a controller now? Yep. So the hub will draw more power if you're connected through the Thunderbolt port. Again, this is exactly what I was telling you. Well, this could be a... While unrelated, I'm just going to fix this real quick. Boom. Wireless receiver is all set up. I'm going to tap the button. It's searching. I'm going to turn on a 360 wireless controller. They should have connected automatically because they were already synced. That's very unusual. Let's see if this one's going to work any better. No? It doesn't seem to be connecting, which is very, very strange. It says it's connecting immediately and then it just stops. That is not what usually happens. What about this third controller? Nope. None of them are found. That's very, very unusual. Oh, now it's searching. Hold on. says it finds immediately, but it's not connected. It's not. As opposed to here, I'm going to show you what normally happens. What normally happens is plug it in. Immediately, all three of them figured out where they were. So even though it draws more power from the Thunderbolt port, there is still a chance that it will not work with your controllers. So just be aware of that. It should work for everything else so far, but it will not work with all your controllers. You may have issues with that. So if you're looking for this particular hub to be used for controller support, maybe not the hub for you. Now let's make sure it charges because it wasn't before. Yep, now it's charging. It's all connected. So controllers, still not the best option for controllers, but that's to be expected because sadly the majority of hubs are not very good with controllers. I used to have a lot of trouble with this and extra keyboards. Next up, we've got, and it's not that any of the ports on the hub are bad. That's not what it is at all. The real issue here is that it doesn't draw enough power. Well, the computer itself doesn't give the hub enough power to work with other things. And it seems like, in my experience, controllers and keyboards especially draw a lot of USB power. But next up, we're going to go for the SD and micro SD slots. I was trying to figure out where I had SD cards and micro SDs. Went and grabbed some. So I'm going to plug in a micro SD card, the bottom one, real fast. They go in upside down. No, they don't. Yes, they do. Snaps right into place. Knows what this is. If you guys know what a flash card is for the DS, that's the memory card that I plugged in. Interesting. How about if I were to do this? If I were to go back into the regular slot, does it work any better? Again, SD card. Whoa. That's not good. That's very not good. Gonna just unplug that. I don't think I've ever gotten none. No, I've gotten one other blue screen of death on this computer before. But that's very, very, very unusual. There we go. That's in. Alright, we're going to try this one more time. Okay, so doesn't draw enough power for controllers so far, which acceptable. I expect that from most USB hubs. Most controllers want to be plugged directly into the computer. But if the SD card slots don't work, that's not very good. I know this one works now because I just tried it. Worked fine. We're just going to go right in. Now it worked fine. So I'm not sure what that was about, but it seems to be working fine now. And what would happen if I were to also plug in a micro SD? I'll just move the camera back a little bit. Sorry about that. Now, there are a lot of devices where it takes one or the other. Like, I have a card reader that takes micro SD, SD, and memory stick. And it'll only read one of those three when it's plugged in. So there's a chance that this just doesn't read both at the same time. It does in fact look like that is the case. It just doesn't read both at the same time. Let's see if there's something in the manual about that. Does not say anything specific about it not using that at the same time. It does say SD times 1 and then not say micro SD, so it's entirely possible that this wasn't intended to have both a micro SD and an SD card in use at the same time. Now, the other two ports that are on this are Ethernet, so an RJ45, and an HDMI. And as you can see, there's clearly nothing behind me right now that has either of those ports. So I'm going to head downstairs, and I will see you guys and gals again in a little bit and we'll test out those two parts as well. Alright, so this setup's going to be a bit more wonky than normal, but what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to turn off Wi-Fi. Boop. And we're going to plug this in. Well, first of all, I'm going to show you what the speed is. So, this is a Cat 5e. My current Ethernet port is over here. Snap that in. I'm going to plug it right into the router, which is over here. Just go in. Bam. Bam. And the easiest way to figure out what's going on is to just take a quick gander at speedtest.net. It's my preferred method. Oh, actually you could do it through Google as well. Google's got a pretty generally simple one. This angle is very hard to type from. Sorry. We're going to run Google speed test. Now, by all means, this is not like a end-all be-all. It's just the simplest way to show you what the difference is. Well, that's not good. So we got 84.2 and 0.23, which is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. We're going to remove this. I'm going to go in through the non-Thunderbolt port. We're boop-boop-booping. That's cool. Then I'll plug this in. Snap right into place. The light is on. It is sending information. Let's see, it should be better off in the camera. We are currently connected. We're going to test again. It says it's on the 5G connection though, which would mean that it is unstable for upload, which would make sense. But I don't know why it's on the 5G through the router. Upload is definitely working a lot better through this. I'm not sure what that's all about. It shouldn't be like that when it's connected to an Ethernet cable. So this is actually working better than through my router directly for some strange reason. I don't know why. Both of those are much better than they were previously, which is okay by me. And now we're going to test the HDMI port. So my actual laptop's HDMI port is on the back, which can be kind of annoying if I have it flush up against something. So it actually will probably be nicer to have it on the side. Plug it into this HDMI port. I'm not getting any visual. That's not good. Well, it could be from a new source. Let me just double check. Here we go. Got nothing. Doesn't seem to be working through that. Let's see if it works when you unplug the Ethernet. Anything? No. No, there doesn't appear to be any change. Let me just grab another USB cable. Maybe it doesn't work with this. I know this is a super long HDMI cable. It's like 12 feet. It actually does not work with my projector, so it doesn't surprise me as much if it doesn't also work with this. I know I never have any trouble with this HDMI cable, this particular one. Which one am I in? I'm currently in Thunderbolt. I'm going to remove, plug it into non-Thunderbolt, plug this in. Nothing. Got nothing. One thing I haven't had a chance to do yet is try 3.5. So I've got a pair of Turtle Beach 300Ps. for the PlayStation. Just going to pop them in here. Bam. Set this up as my sound device real quick. Playback. 2 USB audio device. Going to test it. Pulled it up to max. Working fine through here. What do we have for voice recording? Let's check this out. Change the setting to... Alright, that didn't help me. It just has to be your default device. So, reopen sound. Go to recording. To USB. It's currently the default device. Putting on the microphone. Test, 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 test. You can hear the mic monitor. That's what that is. Oh, this is touching the mouse pad. Test, 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 test. It's coming out of there because that's the way I set it, but it is working.
Hey guys and gals, this is going to be weird because I filmed the first part of this video right when I got the device, and then I waited like 2 weeks to film the next part because I needed no one to be home, and now I'm filming the end about 4 months later because I've had this sitting on my desktop and I just haven't had a chance to get down to it. I want to add the TLDR for the end stuff, my impressions with this USB-C hub. So remember, before you go into this, Windows is not really the target audience for this particular device. Like, this device is for those new MacBooks that don't have any ports except USB-C ports. Now, I'm sure there's a Windows laptop out there, but clearly this is modeled for, and like it has the color scheme of the new MacBooks and what have you. Like, it's definitely, that's the target audience. That doesn't mean you can't use it on Windows, but you're not actually the target audience. So just keep that in mind, first of all. I'm definitely going to say, because I'm a gamer, this might not be the best option for you as a gamer. You should know, you've probably run into this before if you are a gamer, but USB hubs in general have issues with using more controllers and keyboards. Like, they just don't supply the power that the keyboard or the controller needs. And I don't know why that is, but that is very common among USB hubs. So, like, as I used in this video, I tried to use the Xbox 360 adapter for the wireless controllers, and that didn't work, no matter what I did. Even if it was the only thing plugged in through the Thunderbolt port and the regular USB-C port. Just couldn't get the signal right. But it worked fine through my computer's ports. So if you're a gamer, this might not be the hub for you. Speaking of being a gamer, one other thing that I have tried was not in the video because I didn't think of it when I was filming the video. The Ethernet pass-through will not work on your Switch. Like, you can't plug the USB-C in. There is a USB-C to Ethernet adapter, but you have to get the Nintendo-specific one. This will not work for you to pass through Ethernet. I tried. I thought that would be really clever, but I tried and it doesn't work. Remember that through the USB-C pass-through that's on it, you can charge your devices and you can use it to transfer data, but it will not turbocharge, at least not on my phone, which is a Motorola Z Droid Play. I can't get turbo power even through the Thunderbolt port if I have this hub connected and I'm using the pass-through. One thing that I think support should mention, or it should be mentioned somewhere on the listing for the item, is that this device can only read one type of SD card at a time. It's not meant to read the SD and the micro SD. So when I did that, I actually caused my laptop to blue screen. And don't do that. That's not what you... I talked to support. They were like, you're not supposed to use two at the same time. And I was like, oh, okay. That's not mentioned anywhere. Except if you look at the instructions that this hub comes with, it says 1 times SD card slot. And I think that's the only mention they have, that you shouldn't try and read both at the same time. Now, that could be something that I've missed and never understood, but I think that should be stated somewhere in the guide or the listing or something, that you can't read both cards at the same time. And while in my video I couldn't get the HDMI pass-through to work, I know it does work. I've tested it on a new MacBook, the 2018. I think it's actually a MacBook Pro. And I have tested it on 2 Lenovo Legion Y7 laptops, which are Windows machines, and the pass-through works. So something must be wonky with my HDMI pass-through, which means be careful because it won't be compatible with all devices. It should probably work with most, but it won't be compatible with all devices. All in all, for what you're getting through USB-C hub, I think this is pretty good. And price-wise, it's competitive. Just be careful. Hopefully someone will have done a little bit more research on what they have to see if you have the same specs as them. And I hope this video helped. And I want to say thank you again, Komkaer, for contacting me and letting me do this review. I'm sorry the actual video is coming out so late, but I did write a review already on the item. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the item in case you guys want to purchase this hub. And until next time, guys and gals, thanks for tuning in. Bye. Hope this helped.